Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Mysterious Huntsman Show. And tonight I got a special guest on, also a special friend, really good friend to me now for a few years since we met earlier. I'm going to be speaking tonight with Roy Stubblefield. And Roy contacted me a few years ago, and Roy had an incredible encounter with a dogman or a werewolf down in New Orleans. And he was on the show a few years ago. And we keep in contact, and he's got a lot of interesting stories and encounters. He's doing his own research, and I'm going to bring Mr. Roy in here now. And also Roy's story was on These Woods Are Haunted also a few years ago, which is a great episode. I highly recommend you watching it. But Roy, thank you for coming on, man. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, Paul. How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Who would ever thought all those years ago we'd be talking today? We have truly become friends, and I appreciate you, brother. I really do, because you've helped me, behind the scenes with some stuff, and you showed me what a true friend can be, and I really appreciate that, man. So yeah, we always gonna be down for life, for sure.
Yeah, man. It was instant. Like as soon as we talked the first time, and we've kept in touch, and we've talked about everything about this kind of stuff, and then just about life in general, man. I appreciate you too as well. I'm happy that you're on. I'm glad that we still keep in touch.
Yes, sir. And as soon as I get my stuff a little bit more professional, I'm definitely about to have you on my podcast. I'm branching out, trying to do some stuff now. Was never anything that I planned on doing, of course. Since I was on Vic's show, and then your show, and then several other podcasts, and then the TV show reached out to me, I have had so many people reach out to me behind the scenes, whether they want to just say, God bless you. Thank you for sharing your story. You're a hero, all of that. I refuse to take that mantle. A hero saves people. Now, some people think that I may have saved Herman that night. I didn't save Herman. I didn't save him. If it had been me saving him, it would have been me directly driving that thing off or sacrificing myself for those fellas to get away. I didn't save anybody. I still did peed on myself. I'm no hero. I'm just an average dude that's seen a monster and survived.
Yeah, you
That's
did.
always the title that I'm gonna put on myself.
Yeah. Well, just real quick for the audience, and if they're listening to this show, they probably heard about you and your encounter. But real quick, if you don't mind, how about just recapping what happened to you in New Orleans?
Okay, I'll give a brief summary. So I'm from Omaha, Nebraska. I moved to New Orleans with my aunt. I wasn't supposed to be moving. I was just supposed to help her drive down there. Once I got there and we got everything unloaded off the trailer, and she gave me a tour of the city, I decided I did not want to find out what life in the big city was like. Now, that's not to say that Omaha's not. Well, Omaha's not a big city. It's a town aspiring to be a city. Now, it has grown a great deal since I've left, and there's a lot of good stuff that had happened, but there's still a lot of bad stuff that happens in Nebraska as far as gangs and violence and people being eliminated. So, in my opinion, it's a good place to live as long as you live outside of Omaha. And I know it pains me to say that, but it's a lot safer. Nebraska is a great place to live, and there is way more than cornfields there. Believe that. Yes, unfortunately, the gangs that ruined Omaha for raising kids and stuff like that is just not safe. So once we got down there, she gave me a tour, and I decided that I wanted to stay. We started having a conversation. We're asking me about going to school, getting a job. I'm 19 years old. I can do both. I can run all day with the Eagles and stay up and fly all night with the Owls and be just fresh as days the next day. That's what kind of energy I had. So that wasn't the issue. So I did shortly after that, I got a job at a store called Chess King, which for those that remember Chess King is a place that you could come if you want to look like your favorite musician, actor. You want that red and black Michael Jackson Thriller jacket, come Chess King. Had in two colors, black and white and red and black. You want to look like the lead singer from A Flock of Seagulls and those nice ties you used to wear? Yeah, yeah.
I found a new Pokemon. It's a necklace.
Yeah. I'm doing something right now. Thank you. I'll talk to you about that later. Sorry. So yeah, it wasn't a Goodwill type of store. We sold quality clothes, brand new. So for those that will watch that episode on TV, the store didn't look anything like that. When the tables with clothes on it was actually racks with clothes hanging up on hangers and stuff. Don't think that I worked in a Goodwill. But anyway, one day this female came in the store. And well, let me back up a minute. So Chess King actually, we mainly serve male customers, but we did have a small section for women, and they could come in and do shopping too. I guess they weren't trying to miss no money in New Orleans because the one in Nebraska did not have a woman section; it was just men. So this lady came in, girl lady, and she was really something to see. She had everything that Uncle John needs, from her head down to her toes. For the men, I know y'all know what I mean when I say that. But I'm at work and I'm looking at her, trying to think of a good pickup line. And as I ran through, I don't know, pretty much my whole little pickup list, I just decided to go over and be myself, and I did that. And her aura, all these years later, I've been trying to pinpoint what it was about her, and all I can say is it was her aura. Something was like strong animal magnetism that really, really pulled you to her. I mean, it wasn't, I'm not gonna say it was solely a sexual feeling, but it was all encompassing for all your senses. Now that I've had all these years to really think about it and have multiple conversations, that's the best way to describe it. All her presence just enticed all your senses to where you wanted to be close to. So I talked to her and was able to get her to agree to go out with me, but she wouldn't give me her telephone number or her address. Now, if somebody would have told me that today, then I'm automatically walking away and I'm never going to bother you because that means something ain't right. But being 19 years old back then, okay, whatever. I've dated some girls back then that their fathers did. You better not have no boys at the house. And yet, their dad be going to work. If he got to be work at 8 o'clock, I'm coming in the back door at 8:07. Yeah, that was never really an issue. But of course, I was a lot younger. Um, Long story short, she wouldn't give me any of her contact info, but told me I could meet her at a park that was a couple of blocks from her house. I went to the park. My boss drew me a map because I was stupid excited. I forgot to ask her how to get to the park. So my boss drew me a map to get there. And I showed up about 5 minutes early. Like walked in the park, and there were a few people in the park. I'm gonna say it was about 30 people in the park, maybe 25, 30 people. But there were some guys, people sitting on bleachers, and there's a basketball court there. So this guy walked over to me and introduced himself. He said his name was Herman. Asked me if I wanted to play basketball. Told him no, I'm here to meet somebody. He asked me who. I didn't know him, so I didn't tell him. And all those dudes came over and talked, and they talked to me for a while. So after I sat and waited for her till a quarter to eight and finally got that feeling that, you drove out here for nothing. Because I'm like 22, 23 miles away from home. I'm going back down the quarters and maybe I could salvage the night, but I'm hungry. Herman said, well, since you here, man, why don't you just stay and play basketball with us? And I did. I had to change the clothes in the trunk of my car. I stayed and played basketball with him till about midnight when the lights went off. And then we were going to go get some beer. And I made the decision then that if I had did it different, I would never had an encounter if I had just not been so vain about my car. But I could have put them dudes in my car and we could have went to the liquor store and would have never had an encounter. No, Roy wasn't trying to do that. He decided he was gonna walk with him and went down the railroad tracks and encountered a monster, a big monster. I will never forget what she looked like. I'm not gonna forget what her breath smelled like. I'm never gonna forget that. It's a part of me now, and I don't wish that. Well, I always say I don't wish that on nobody, but unfortunately, I know three people off the top of my head that I wish was in my shoes and not on them tracks. That's all I'm still about that. But werewolves are
I think I know
real.
who you're talking about.
Magic is real, whether you want to believe it or not. People, I mean, you get examples of it on a daily basis. People that talk to the dead, people that use tarot cards, people that predict your future. That is a means of magic unless they have the ability to see into the future. But for us, isn't that even could be considered a magical power or talent to be able to see into the future? I can't do it. Other than when I get on TV, I might can look a week into the programming for next week, but for somebody's life, no,
Right.
sir.
Right.
I'm drawing blank. So just be careful who you deal with, who you piss off, because they might be a witch or a warlock or a sorceress or a sorcerer, and they may do something to you. And even if you don't believe, you don't have to believe for them to get you. So just try to, people better, because right now evil is winning. Watch the news, read the newspaper. Weigh how many tragic events you're seeing being reported as opposed to how many good events you're seeing reported. Evil is winning. people. We minding down. So, um, we need to be better to one another, and we need to buckle up because stuff is coming. After the video that I seen with my own eyes and seeing a freaking giant in there in 2021 in Arkansas, yeah, all my bets got they're off the table because that means anything possible when they start talking about giants. And the killing part about it is, I've shared that video with you, Paul, as you look at it. That thing stood there and watched the person that was recording the video until she took the camera off of it for 3 seconds. And then when it came back, the spot that the giant was standing in is vacant, but he didn't know that if he came back fast enough and caught him, and he tried to walk his butt over there and hide behind the tree. But the killing part about all of it is when it was standing right there behind this tree in the oak while this lightning storm was going on, you looked at that thing and seen a tree, leaves and branches. And yet, when I took a couple of still shots of that same thing, and I'll send those to you too, Paul, you can clearly see what's there.
Yeah,
It's a face, a nose, a mouth he got on a necklace. I don't know if those were boulders that he got on his thing or maybe big chunks of gold. I don't know what they are, but he got either a Mongolian top knot or a freaking mohawk.
it's definitely a
But he
wild
does
video.
not look. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's definitely a wild video, and I'm gonna have it on. Yeah, and I'm sorry you can't be with us tonight on the like your face on here, but I'm gonna have the videos that you sent me and the clips also that you're gonna send me up here tonight. So I'll have it on in the final cut. But it's definitely a crazy video, and you're right, man. I think we are winding down, and I think things are they're crazier than I've ever seen them. And I know even in the 80s, I was thinking my parents are thinking, well, it's the end times, or the older people back then, they would say it's the end times, the end is near. But man, if something don't happen soon now, something's wrong.
Right, right. And I've talked to people that talk about there's this alien race is supposed to come down here next year and set stuff right for the powers that be that aren't trying to make things better for mankind. They supposed to be getting ousted. And I'm like, wait a minute, who is this race that's coming?
Right.
I don't have my notes in front of me. I'm actually going to have this guy on my podcast, but if you listen to him, the stuff that he says, it makes sense and it's very feasible. Now, does that mean it's going to happen? I don't know. But he said that he has, because he's been abducted by them or taken. This is what he was shown and told. When they come, we're actually supposed to get an invitation to the Galactic Federation. And I told him, that's a bad idea. He said, why you say that? I'm like, man, what is man known for? We build and destroy. We spread out of control like a freaking virus. And then what do? We start destroying the land, harming the wildlife, start changing stuff. That's not a good idea for us to be interacting with things of higher knowledge right now. We're not ready for that. He's like, man, I can't believe you saying that. I'm like, well, being honest, I said, we're considered still on a monkey level by other species in space. He said, well, what do you know about other species? That they exist. God didn't just start and stop with us. Look at every day a new species being discovered on Earth. With all those planets and universe and stuff out there that God had to play with, you think that he just came to this one little blue spinning ball of mud and decided to put intelligent life here? Then what explain all these ships and stuff that we see? Me and my youngest son was standing out here 2 nights ago looking up at the sky. He pointed out 3 freaking UFOs. I talked to a truck driver the same night because he called when I was out here looking at it, and I told him what we was doing. I never described the ships, and yet his name is Paul too. He was able to tell me him and his wife see him all the freaking time. He told me exactly what they do. They try to disguise themselves as stars, but they're sitting at a lower altitude. But they move, Paul. If you go outside where you live at now in the country, just look up at the sky and look toward the moon. You'll see a light move, and then it'll get real dim, and then it'll vanish. And then in another spot within 10 or 15 feet of where your visual range is, you'll see another one appear. And it'll go in the same trajectory that person is going, and then it'll disappear. I'm like, get out of here with that. And my son's like, Dad, do you see it? I'm like, yeah, I see that, dude. How often have you been seeing me?
Wow. Is it a certain time of night?
You could have knocked me over with a feather. He told me he didn't see these things since he was 13.
Wow.
He's 23 now.
Is this
First time hearing about it.
Is this a certain time of night, or is it just any time of the night?
No. Anytime it's full on dark after 9 o'clock here, and I'm in Arizona after 9 o'clock. Usually I'm on the night shift, and I talk to you about that. My caregiver stuff I do at night. So I'm up usually the majority of the night, at least until 4 or 5 o'clock. And I'm outside periodically because I'll come out here, let my dog out, and I'm always looking at the sky. And all these years I had never seen that. But ever since he told me that, I see him every night now, at least 3. And they don't have, sometimes they'll be going north, sometimes they'll be going east, and sometimes they'll be going south. I haven't seen any going west. I've seen something come out of the west. But it's like, what are y'all doing? Could they be human beings piloting those ships? Because we got that technology from all this crash spaceship that they discovered. Hence, we have all of this technology that's advancing so fast. I mean, look at just from 2G to 3G to 4G to 5G. And believe it or not, we actually have 6G that's working. I got a screenshot. Somebody called me from the hospital. And they was telling me, look at the top of the screen. And I'm looking at it like, okay, I'm not seeing nothing out of the ordinary. There's your battery life, your text messages, and all this other stuff. And she said, look at the Wi-Fi. And I looked at it, and it said freaking 6G. And I'm like, we don't have 6G. She said, evidently we do. Now, is it possible that just that hospital is running on 6G? Because she said she's had never seen that in any other area in her city, just in the house. And I'm like, you need to find out what's on the lowest level of the hospital. She said, why? I'm like, I'm just curious to know what's down there. I'm just curious to know what's down there. So,
well, you're out there.
Arkansas right now is a hotbed.
Yeah, it is.
Of activity.
But you're out there. You're in Arizona. I mean, that's a hotbed all in itself. I mean, everything happens out in the Southwest, but specifically Arizona. There's no telling what you got running around underneath.
Well, when I first moved here, I was told that there are government installations out in the desert that are underground. They got spiders down their biggest house that they've been experimenting on tarantulas. And I'm like, a tarantula that big shouldn't even be able to breathe. He said, why you say that? I'm like, look at the body mass. I mean, I don't know that much about spiders except for they look real good when you hit them with some rays. I just can't fathom a tarantula this big as a house. So, I mean, I got arachnophobia bad. That's not something I want to tangle with. I'm here to tell you right now. You might as well put me on some a breech clout and give me 2 stone knives and put me in a pit with a dog man that ain't 8 in a month. I'd rather go up against him than to face a spider that big.
Yeah, so, me too.
I was told that there are they doing experiments on Gila monsters down here trying to create some kind of Gila man.
Oh boy. And
I was like, what? And the guy was like, yeah, now I think this dude was pulling my leg, but he had that maniacal look in his eyes. So I wasn't going to, push too many buttons to see if he actually had a wild look in his eye. Like, the best expression I could give you is, have you ever met a full-fledged conspiracy theorist?
Oh, yeah.
You see the look in their eyes?
Yes.
When they get to rolling up with, that's how he looked, Paul. And I was like, oh, okay, man, all right, okay. He's like, bro, I'm telling you, the government don't give a damn about us. They doing this. And this was in 2004. Was a homeless guy. I stopped at Circle K to get something to drink on the way home. And he's like, hey, man, can you spare $1? I'm like, I'm not going to give you $1, but I will be kind of get you a sandwich, something to drink. What kind of soda do you want? He said, I love Sprite, man. So I got him a large Sprite, tuna fish sandwich, and a bag of chips, and gave it to him. And I was sitting there talking to him, just kind of asking, how'd you end up homeless, man? He's like, brother, I used to work for a corporation in the science department, and I couldn't stomach what they was doing to the people anymore. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, you know what they're putting in the food? You know what they're putting in the makeup? You know what they're putting in a lot of stuff that we use, the lotion, even aspirin and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, stuff that's going to hurt you to the grave. He said, we getting stuff that ain't even supposed to be in our body. Just like, did you know that the red dye in some liquid comes from some kind of chemical that they get off a hippopotamus's butt? I was like, you kidding me? He's like, that red Kool-Aid you be drinking? Dude, I wanted to throw up 17, 18 years worth of Kool-Aid. But the way he was putting it, because he was, I'm not going to say he was crazy. I just think he had so much knowledge about what they was being done to mankind on low that his basket has overflowed.
Yeah.
And he don't know how to reel it back in to where, so I never seen him again after that. prayed for him. What the hell was on a minute? I've never heard that sound before. Unless that's my grandson. Oh, okay. I thought something was on top of the house.
Yeah, you never know with you.
Yeah.
That stuff just follows you around.
Yeah, unfortunately, I came out here one night and there was an orb in the backyard, out on the wall. I took 4 pictures. It's in one picture, and the other 3 pictures you can't see it. And I did that so people could see that it wasn't a light or a paint spot on this brick wall. It was a bright white orb back there. And I'm like, you need to get on the other side of the wall.
Have you ever
And
heard?
it just disappeared.
Have you ever heard the theory that once one supernatural thing happens to you, that other things just kind of start knocking? They let themselves in. You know, you'll start experiencing more. Have you ever heard of that? You could be one of those.
Yes, sir, because you're opened up. You've been opened up. It's almost like before you start school, you have no idea how to do math.
I still don't.
And yet you go to school and they start you.
And I don't.
They start you out with addition.
And I don't care. I haven't needed it.
The gist of it, and then that you graduate on. So if you believe in cryptid, then it's an easier transition. But if you don't believe them, it can be a rougher ride because it's kind of like it's force fed to you with no Vaseline and no warning. But you're open now because you've seen something.
Right.
And you either get curious and want to know more, or you be like, I need to up my arsenal in case something else happens. So
exactly. And the most people that have spoken with me, it's like once they know you're afraid, they dig in deeper. They want to make you even more fearful. And the more you fear them, the more energy it gives them. I mean, it's just
horrible with the torment. That's kind of torment. That's like a different kind of stalk. Like the lady in Arkansas, they across the street. Now, if it was out in the country, it would make more sense to me. If any of the stuff that she sees makes sense. But when you come out of your house and go to your vehicle in the driveway and all you do is turn your head to the right and look across the street in your neighbor's yard under the dark ass section of yard with these trees in the corners where they are. And they're always there. Even other stuff shows. And I'm like, how did you do it? And she's like, it's been almost 10 years now. So they ain't tried to hurt me. You get on how they've been doing weird stuff now, like coming under the house and growling, or they was on the roof the other day and jumped off, and my daughter went outside to get something out of the car. But I wish I could share that video with you, but it's got some personal information displayed in the video and I can't show it to you. I just took some screenshots when I talked about it on my podcast. There's a dog man watching her the whole time she walks out to the house, to the vehicle. You can see the eyes glowing. It's why actually there's 2 of them, but as she gets to the vehicle, you hear a thump and she stands up and says, "What the fuck?" and turns and look, and that's when she see that one back there looking at her, but she didn't see the one that jumped off the house, but you could hear it. So she got where she was trying to get, and then she took her butt in the house. And I'm like, that was a wise decision because I have 3 pictures of them actually watching her. But the thing is, these eyes are just in the air. I don't know what's going on with that. I got a video and I'm going to send it to you. And please give me your feedback, but it shows these 2 balls of light. Okay. They got to be 50 to 75 feet apart. Okay.
Okay.
She takes another picture. They're now 20 feet apart. She takes a 3rd picture and they're together. And I actually blew up the picture and took another screenshot of the enlarged episode. Those are freaking eyes. You can actually see the energy in them. And it's almost like they're frowned. There's a frowned shape to them because they looking right at her, but there's no head, there's no body, but it's these big eyes. I'm like, okay, what is that? And she's like, I have no idea, but don't post this until I can figure it out. I got a lot of stuff sitting that I can't post because she won't let me, or she say that until I figure it out, or maybe she need to get a certain feeling on it. She should post it now. So I'm okay with it because the amount of stuff that she shared with me in 5 years has been incredible. And to know that not only does she have dogmen and Bigfoot, she got ghosts, some other kind of little creatures running around, all kind of light phenomena. I mean, some weird light phenomena. Hold on just I know you heard him. He's over in the window making noise, and I told him I'm on the phone, so I'm gonna send him in the room in a minute. But yeah, it's been the stuff that I have seen. I didn't sign up for anything like this. So I just wanted to tell my encounter to try to get that weight off of me, that poison that was just eating away at me bit by bit, even though I thought I had did it all those years ago. Unless you get this out of your system, If you try to keep your mouth shut because you're afraid people are gonna make fun of you or not believe you, possibly give you an extended stay at that one special hotel with the padded room and that nice white jacket with the extra long sleeves, then it will eat you up and you don't even realize it. But if people are watching you, when you jump at certain sounds or there's certain like anything werewolf related, you're like, I'm not watching that. No, you better put on some Disney stuff. You're not doing the werewolf stuff. Why? What's not with this? We want to see this. All right, well, I'm going to bed. Or I'm going to watch something else. I refuse to watch it. What's the matter with you? I don't do no werewolf stuff. But if you do it enough, people will be like, okay, what's going on? Is you really that scared? What's going on?
Well, I know a lot of people have reached out to you, and you've even created one or two Facebook forums that you have a lot of followers that reach out to you and trust your opinions, and they've probably benefited from being able to talk to you about it.
Yes, sir. I'm not an expert. I'm not even really an investigator, unless you want to call an armchair investigator. I did the one today, and I will be doing some in the future. If I get my health back, I actually have a member of my group that she's had some Bigfoot experiences up north, and she actually captured something coming out of cabin one night to where this thing, it looks like a bug, but the head on it is bigger than any bug I've seen. I'm talking about a human head sized bug with dark eyes, and it's just like in Arkansas, this thing is giving off its own freaking light because she's only filming with a cell phone camera. It doesn't, that light does not extend out, and nor would it cause that thing to glow green with black eyes. There was actually two figures there, but I couldn't get the video to stabilize to figure what the other one was. But I posted that, and I'm like, "You didn't see these?" And she's like, "No." I'm like, "They was like maybe 30 feet away from you." He said, "I heard some tree knocks, and I wanted to get my butt out of there because it's out in the woods. It's a very nice cabin. But once I got done cleaning, I wanted to get my butt out of there." And she skedaddled, but she had to load all of her cleaning supplies back into her pickup truck, and she had to walk all the way down this long porch. I'm like, "Why didn't you park right there by the stairs?" I don't know. So she has tree knocks recorded, and she actually went on this guy's property that she knows, and they did a Bigfoot investigation. She said they got very little evidence, so they're gonna go back. She keeps asking me, "Roy, don't you want to come?" I'm like, "I can't even run right now, let alone walk properly." So no, not right now. When I get my legs back, then I'll go. Then I'll go, and I might not stay all night. So be prepared for that. She said, "Why not?" I said, "Because Roy love him some Roy, and I don't want. I got away from the werewolf. I damn sure don't want to get got by no Bigfoot. That's why." You can report to me in the morning when I come back with the vehicle to get you. So just the amount of people I've had guys talk to me, and I definitely got to get him on, but because he talked to me about being on the spaceship and some of the aliens that he's seen. Uh, Reports have come out from across the planet about aliens that look like this, but he said he's seen like more than 10 different species. And I was like, wow. So there's a guy that used to be on the Howard Stern show named Raleigh Martin, and evidently this gentleman was talking with the guy I was talking with, and he actually told him that he seen him on the spaceship when he was 3.
Wow.
So they got connected like that. Yeah, when he ties it all together, it's gonna blow your mind. Plus, he seen a dog man in Michigan in the city under an overpass, and then he thinks that he was talking to a guy that was a werewolf. So yeah, his thing is going to be very interesting. I've also talked to 2 people that claim that they were werewolves. Of course, I asked for proof. One young man, he sent me a video, and as soon as I got done watching it, I blocked him because after everything that he told me, give me some kind of change in lengthening eye change or something. He sent me a video of him sitting in a chair, and to me, it looked like he had been up for 3 days and he really needed some sleep. The way his head was rolling around on his shoulder. And I'm like, you got me. You got me good. So I had another gentleman that reached out, and the thing that got me with him was his girlfriend backed up what he said about her seeing a physical change because it happened in times of, I know this is a child friendly show, so what's the word I'm looking for? Erotic excitement.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna need. So what are you noticing? She said, I noticed that his teeth change, his eyes change, he growls and becomes aggressive, and He just has his demeanor changed. I like roll up a magazine or a newspaper and pop him on in his nose when he do that. Betty, stop. She said, Roy, I'm serious. I said, so am I. I said, come on, man. Why y'all playing with me? Why y'all playing with me? Do y'all think that this is a game?
Yeah.
And then then she sent me two pictures. Now, while his canines are not extremely long, they're a little bit longer than ours.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and he got this look on his face like,
Wow.
yeah, he got a look on his face like if I was standing in the room with him, I would have my pistol pointed at him.
Hey, you never
And
know.
I asked her, what do you do when he's like this? She said, I lock his ass in a room and I go find something else to do. I'm like, but if I just got done being erotic, then he was like, if he doesn't hold me down and get in my face and growl at me, like he gonna do something to me, then I know to get up and get out of the room. And I usually lock the door. I'm like, so you can lock the door from the outside, the bedroom door? She said, yeah. I'm like, so how long has this been going on? She said, I first noticed it a couple of years ago. I'm not saying that the dude is a werewolf, because it could be a case of demonic possession. You know, you can go through physical change with that. But that look on his face and the way his nostrils was flared, I just told him, I don't ever want to meet you in person. Let's get that out of the way. But if you want to video chat, I want you to talk to somebody because I want them to do something, run a test on you to see if you've been off it. And he's like, what kind of test? I'm like, ain't nobody gonna take no blood, nothing like that. She's just gonna do a reading on you and find out if you've been. He said, well, okay. And then I told him, so just like that, you agree? He said, yeah. I said, I don't want you to see nobody. I just want to see if you would agree, dude. He said, I don't know what's going on with you, but you got something going. And y'all need to figure out what exactly it is, because if you are in fact a lycanthrope, how are you controlling your urge to do what lycanthropes do? And he just said, I never got to that point. I have felt like, biting her a few times, like not take her throat out, nothing like that. And I was like, okay, well, just keep in touch with me. So usually I message him once a month and that, how you doing? Everything okay? And then changes. And be like, no, actually, since we started talking to you, his episodes aren't as bad, because I told him, when you feel that way, what do you think about it? He just said, I really don't think about nothing. I said, you need to start thinking about how much you love your woman and how much it would hurt you to hurt her. And he's like, I would never hurt her. I'm like, not in the form you in now. But
Right.
you need to buckle down, because one day if you fully change and she's there and for some reason you don't recognize her scent or her, that's going to be your first elimination. And you don't want that, dude. So I just, I don't talk to people like a Looney Tunes and nothing like that. I talk to them like I would want to be talked to if I was going. And for some reason, they seem to appreciate it more and be like, man, I'm so glad I talked to you, man. You're a real dude. And thank you for your advice. I didn't need no advice that I think is really helpful if you're really a werewolf, but I don't want you to do nothing to your girl because she's there with you going through this and she ain't ran off and left you. Dude, you don't know how lucky you are. So you got to double down to make sure you don't do nothing to her. Because if you do something to her, the next one you end up with, they might not be able to handle what you're going through as well as she does. That's the kind of conversation I have where somebody called me up, like a guy from Alabama who's got dogman and Bigfoot on his property. He just reached me out of the blue, sent me some pictures. And I'm like, wow, he got a dog man up in a tree. Man. It ain't even trying to hide. Now the picture is blurry, but you cannot mistake those ears and head. He got another one that's climbed up on the side of his barn. These dog men where he lives, they love to climb. He's got a trailer, a 18-wheeler trailer and parked on his property. There's one in some bushes down on the ground looking at it, and then it's a real big one up on top of the trailer. And I asked him, I said, did you see Big Boy up there? He said, that's why I took the picture. I said, so what do they do? He said, all they do is watch. They just come to the edge of the woods and sit down and just watch, or they climb up in trees and watch us all the time. I said, so you never had no problem with it? He said, the only issue I've had with them was I left a 6-pack or a 12-pack of Pepsi out on the porch, and the dogman came and bit up the cans and punctured all the cans, and he said he still had the cans. I'm like, I would love to see them. He said, I got them in storage. I'll get them shown to you. I said, okay. So that lady in Michigan, she's had that showed up on the property. I want to say giant, but I've just never seen a giant with glowing eyes. But this thing is taller than the trees, and it's got a square humanoid head, but it's got glowing eyes. She's got a picture of either a goblin or a troll that's got a perfectly round afro. And I mean, it's so black, it's dog man black, look like it eat light. And it's got this wicked looking grin on his face back in and behind her house in the backyard. And then she's got a picture of a government created dog man. I got to see This is the second one that I've seen.
How does she
that the
know it's?
government created.
How does she know that?
Because the wild ones, they either have an Anubis appearance, a German Shepherd appearance, Siberian Husky, hyena, or believe it or not, fox. I all got pointed ears that stand up. Government, for some reason, either use a Rottweiler or a pit bull blueprint to make theirs. Because the one that she has in her backyard, looking at it, he's got a square head, a square muzzle, and his ears flop down like a pit bull when they're not cropped. And he's looking right at the back of her, where her camera's on the back of the house. He's looking right at the camera. She's got a spirit in her house that I think has attached itself to one of her kids and causing him to act out. There was a mine in the area that was abandoned for 5 years. So what was so special about 2025 when she actually was driving down the road, because she seen a guy back there walking and she said that he was a werewolf. And I'm like, why you say that? She said, why is he walking? That road don't go nowhere. I'm like, he may be walking because his vehicle broke down. But that don't, just because he's walking back there don't mean he's a werewolf. I said, come on. I said, kind of, don't let your imagination run too wild. You kind of, rein that in a little bit until you got some hard evidence that should support that. You can't just go around calling people werewolf.
Yeah.
So she's like, why not? I'm like, well, I guess you can, as long as you don't say it to the wrong person. But anyway, the guy walked on. She said he was dressed funny because he had on a blue jean suit, but he was carrying a woman's blue jean jacket with a lot of, what's the stuff they put on the jacket and stuff? They go crazy with it. Jewels?
Is it bedazzles?
They call it bedazzling or something? Yeah. He was carrying a girl's jacket that had a lot of bedazzle stuff on it. Wasn't no girl with him though. I said, did the jacket look like it was fitting? She said, no. I said, that was very interesting. So where does that road go? She said, that road will go back to the mine, or you can take a shortcut through the woods for about 3 miles and come back out on the highway, because she stays out in the country, like 20 miles outside of it. So I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I've seen videos of a monstrous dog, man. But all you can see is his eyes. He's standing in the neighbor's yard looking over her 6-foot fence, just staring. He stayed there the majority of the night. She called the police that night and got the police officer on video walking across her backyard, because she showed him when they pulled up where the thing was, told him, I don't know what that is, but those aren't lights. They watched the video for a while, and he was of the mind that those are lights. Don't nothing stand there and not blink that long, and then the fucker blink. He's my friend. And then the thing blinked. And he's like, okay, let me go take a look. Individual walks his butt halfway across that backyard. Right when he got almost immediately in the halfway point, he stopped and did an about face and turned around and lickety. He didn't run, but he increased the length of his stride to get back to his vehicle. It's almost like he remembered that he had dry cleaning he needed to pick up at 1:30 a.m. in the morning. And he went back around to the front of the house and told that woman that we got kids in the neighborhood playing pranks on people. So that's probably what it is. If they come back, feel free to call me. And then as he was going down the steps, he reached up and grabbed that microphone on his shoulder and said something to dispatch, but he didn't come back. Now, either that thing growled at him or woofed at him or did something to indicate his presence. Because he didn't have to walk through the fence. The thing about it is, if it was in a neighbor's yard, why didn't he take his butt around in the neighbor's yard to look and see what it was? Why did he walk in her yard? Nobody lives in the house next door. It's Airbnb. So he could have done just that. But on video, you see him, and I'm like, did you call the police department and report him or ask for another officer? She said, no, what's the point? I'm like, to try to get some answers. I said, because you told me that's not the dogmen that you used to see. It's a lot bigger, right? She said, right. I said, so where's the packet that used to be in your backyard? She said, it seemed like something that made them leave the area, but they're back now. So it's all kind of crazy stuff. When she started seeing all kind of trucks and stuff go back to the mine, they put up a brand new fence around the place that hadn't been there, brand new fence, barbed wire on top and everything. And then one day she said she counted about 10 or 12 vehicles going back there. Her daughter actually notices that, Mommy, look at all these trucks. All these trucks go back there to the mine area. And she said about 30 minutes later, it sounded like a war was going on. She said, I heard so many gunshots. I said, did you hear anything that sounded like it could have been a small explosion? She's like, I don't. She said, like what? Like something on TV? I'm like, a grenade. Like, I don't know what a grenade sounds like in real life, but didn't hear nothing. I just heard a lot of gunshots, real fast gunshots. I said, so where was your dogmen at? She said, they were in the backyard. Now she's evidently supposed to be in mind speak with a female in the pack. And she said she was picking up from her that everybody in the pack was terrified, but they ran to her property and hunkered down. I'm like, you do realize that ever since you started talking to me, the government is not aware of you, right? She said, what do you mean? I said, they started watching me shortly after I first was on Vixen. She said, so am I in danger? I said, I don't think so. They haven't done anything to me yet. I said, but we don't have no body or nothing like that. I just got video and pictures. It's stuff they can either refute or even remove from our device. So I just wanted you to know that from the day you start talking to me, that they're aware.
Yeah, they
Like,
know.
well, if they're aware, then how come they don't do something about these things? I'm like, they are. They doing something about them. They letting them do exactly what they do.
Right. Do you ever get
It's
the?
like, well, why were they created? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say all of this that is showing up right now, especially in these weird times we're having. Do you ever get the sense that everything's connected, like the dogman, the Bigfoot, the orbs, the UFOs, the spirits? Everything's connected, and it feels right. Like you said, what if it's? I mean, I know you and I both are believers, and we know that the Bible has told us before the end times we're going to start seeing some crazy things. It's going to get really
Yes, sir.
strange, and for some reason, the people in the church don't. They get a watered down version a lot of times while they're sitting there, Sunday mornings, they're getting a nice feel good prosperity thing, but nobody's talking about the end times anymore or what might be coming. They're just not really thinking about it. They're not, maybe they don't want to think about it. So
I believe that it's because man has pulled so far away from God, especially these last two generations, because we really weren't church going folk like we were when I was a child.
right.
We weren't made to go to school. We weren't made to sit down and read the Bible. Now, there are quite a few people that do have their children do that, and I applaud them for it. But for the most part, what is the main consensus of the world? Get more money, get that brand new car, get that beautiful house, get that gorgeous wife, make a whole bunch of money, and don't help nobody. Turn your back on your fellow man. If somebody's homeless, that's his problem, not yours. But I stay in $1 million home. I can afford to give them $5. I got a thriving business. I can afford to donate $50,000 so they can buy these shipping containers and take that wall down so that these homeless people can get out of this 115-degree heat during the summer. But you know what it is instead? Mankind. I got this, it's mine. I ain't doing squat for nobody. But
Right.
mine. And that's the way it is. And I get it. I get it. When they said dog eat dog world, it's a cutthroat world. They wasn't lying.
No.
But in the time that we need to be one tribe now, instead of all these individual villages, we need to be one tribe. Because when it comes, the numbers that we lose are going to be astronomical, as
Yeah.
opposed to how many we put down in the first wave. One dog man can easily take out 50 healthy individual males in a New York minute, whether they armed or unarmed. That's how fast they are. And with the tools that they got, like running down the hallway in a suit with your arms spread out, and you can put your claws on the lockers and just rip them and run.
Right.
We now, I'm pretty sure the government got some kind of munitions and firepower that's gonna deal with them, whether that be something that works on a laser technology or a what's that gun called that shoots that big metal rod? What's that something called? You know what I'm talking about, though, right?
It's not a
Or
rail?
if they use something like
Is it a rail gun?
rail gun. That's it. Or you use a handheld rail gun and shoot, I guess, some reinforced rebar through a dog man with sharpened tip.
Yeah, I don't know.
But that kind of power, the thrust behind it, it's gonna penetrate. It's gonna penetrate. It's gonna do a lot of damage if it's got them screws on it when they go to rip it out. Just like a certain arrowhead. So people may wonder why am I talking about this upcoming war because it's coming. I don't know when, and I hope I'm in the dirt when it comes. I hope my grandson doesn't have to be one of the soldiers that fights it, but it's coming. And it's the beasts of the field or Bigfoot, dog man, crawlers, sheep squatch, pig man, goat man, whatever the heck is out there. Oh my,
jelly roll. You never.
We gonna be up against it. So I'm telling everybody right now, get you some TIR ammo and some 4570 Guffin. That's what I was told would do the job. Especially that 4570. That the dude said that will put a Bigfoot and a dog man down, and you can actually hit them mass shots and do damage. But of course, you want to really put them down, you're gonna have to go for a vital spot. I'm not telling anybody to go out there and hunt these things. I'm just telling you get your ammo up so you can be prepared because it's coming. Again, I don't know when, but this is what I was told. With all of the stuff that I've been seeing over the last just 2 years, paranormal activity in portals is really amped up. I
Yeah.
just got a video a week ago of a pole in a big department store parking lot. It's not Walmart, it's another store. This funny looking pole with these, it looked like it got bull horns up at the top of it, these metal pieces going out.
hmm
So this person is videoing this pole at night. Tell me why the metal pieces are going white hot. And if you look between them, it looks like there's a distortion because it's cloudy, but there's a clear spot right there. It looks like it's a freaking portal right there. So these things come flying out of the dark. Okay. They go through the bullhorns and come down and spiral around the pole. And they go 2 or 3 times around. And each time they come from behind the pole, they come out as an orb. They no longer have wings and just float off into the dark. Why the hell is nobody else seeing this? And she's out in public sitting in this parking lot filming, and there's cars in the parking lot. The store's not closed. Nobody looks up anymore. They so busy looking down.
Yep.
You
Maybe.
could be on a hike in the mountains, and instead of looking at all that beauty that God created, you checking your text messages, you checking your business emails, you always doing something instead of doing that crap. That's why Dogman and Bigfoot can be up in a tree and you can walk right up under and not even know they there because you got your head.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
your phone's not gonna save you. When they bust that EMP that them kill all electronic devices, not Googling nothing. So you better start buying you some atlases and some maps and learn how to read them the old fashioned way. Because you're not gonna be able to do squat with your phone when that EMP done dead there.
That's
So
true.
I'm not trying to scare y'all. These are words of advice.
No, I'm with you. I definitely think something is ramping up. You know, even just the past year or past 6 months has been really strange, and especially with. I know you've heard about all the scientists going either missing or someone's taken them out, or they've taken them out, taken
Um,
themselves out. You know, that's something big is coming, and we've got wars that are going on right now, and just crazy, crazy stuff across the board. And it's. I've never seen it like this ever. So I would say, yeah, get prepared for something, even if it's just for your soul. You know, man, wild times.
so I actually talked with a person. I can't say her name, and I really wish I could let you see some of the videos and pictures that she sent me. But demons love children,
Yeah.
especially if they have any type of handicap. He has a son that is autistic, not speaking, and the demons play with him. He
Mm.
watches him run across the ceiling around the room. And I know some people gonna hear this and be like, "How do you know?" Because I've seen the stuff on video. I've seen the boy get out of the shower and have a face sticking out of his chest or out his side. I've seen pictures that she took of him while he's asleep, and there's a face with horns superimposed over his face, looking right back at her. I've seen pictures where there's something laying on top of him called a phallus demon, which is highly disgusting. I've seen something look like a spotted Nessie laying on the boy, the 14-year-old.
Mm.
She got a portal in her house. Her security cam picked up. Her son's down in the basement. He come upstairs. When he gets up about to the second step from the top, his head disappears. You can see the rest of his body, but his hair disappears until he gets all the way up to the top of the steps. And then they just boop, pop right back in. I'm like, wait a minute. Let me rewind this. I watched that like 8, 9, 10, maybe 12 times. And then I called her and said, yo, what's the what? She's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, what is that over there? And she's like, oh, let me go in here. She said, call me back on video. Let me go in here and show you something. So I'm talking to her on video. She sets the phone down in her holder and points it across the room toward that area. She walks over there. Now there's 3 jackets hanging on the wall, okay, in this spot. There's 3 jackets, a plaid jacket, a white jacket, and I think the other one is red and green or all green. She took her hand, Paul, and waved it in that spot where her son's head disappeared. You can see through her hand and her arm and see them jackets on the wall. And then when she go down toward the end, her arm and her hand disappear.
Is that some kind of portal or it's just really thin?
It's a portal.
Right there. Wow.
These things, I mean, there's pictures of things that look like aliens and stuff. She sent me a whole bunch of pictures. I can't share nothing. She said she wanted to get help for her kids, but she said, send me the picture of whoever you want me to talk to because I need to look at them to see if there's something in them. But the last time I talked to her, which was almost a year ago, and I don't think I'm going to be talking to her again because I had a conversation with her about the way she talks to her son when she's asking them stuff. I mean, she goes in she's a diligent mom, but unfortunately, she's under oppression and she didn't realize the house is already infested. So the next thing is once you go through oppression and infestation, it's possession. So I had a conversation with her about you need to lower your energy when you're talking to your son. He's already scared. When you start yelling and screaming at him, that's not going to help him. What are you talking about? I said, when you asked him, did he have a dream last night? Because you went downstairs when we was on the phone, remember? And we was on video and his leg was up in the air. Okay. He's asleep. His leg is up in the air, Paul. Like somebody holding his leg up in the air. So she grabbed it and did a shooing motion to put his leg back down. And then his arm, which was folded kind of over his face, over his eyes, it gets raised up and put over to the side. And I'm looking at this like, I need to start praying. So that's what I did.
Yeah.
So the next morning, she called me. She's like, are you awake? I'm like, I haven't been asleep. I've been up all night thinking about the stuff that I've seen. So her son comes upstairs to get ready. I guess get ready for school or getting some breakfast. And she's like, did you have a dream last night? And he said, yes, ma'am. She said, what happened? And he just looked at her. She said, you have to tell me what happened. You can't keep having these dreams. She just exploded. And I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. I said, you can't do that. He's going through enough. He don't need you. What are you doing? We just talked about this last night. And her response was, why do you keep saying that? She just kept saying that over and over again. Why do you keep saying, why the F do you keep saying that? Why do you keep saying that? And her voice would just get more shrill and harsh.
Yeah.
Till it got to the point where I knew I wasn't talking to her.
Right.
And I said, I'm about to get off the phone and let you go. I'm going to pray for you and your family. Whatever. I don't work miracles. I am not a demonologist. I don't do exorcism. I look at stuff and I use my common sense to tell you what's going on. If that ain't good enough, then I tell you turn to God. But if you're not doing anything that you need to do to help your kids because you think you're strong enough to face it yourself, you are sadly mistaken, ma'am. You're so close to being possessed, you don't even know it. Because I know that was not her I was talking. No way. So, like I said, I can only pray for them, but demons love kids. And I just have never seen so many in one house. I know it's a lot of them, but damn, and I asked her, I said, so are there any weird things happen to you before you moved in the house at the old house? Are there any weird things? She said, yeah. About 2 weeks before I moved, I noticed that there was like 1,000 flies. I said, in October in Nebraska? She said, yeah. I'm like, incredible. She said, right. So you know what that means when you got all them flies in your house? So she moved to this brand new house ain't nobody never lived in to have her kids go through this shit. Excuse my friend. So my heart goes out to her, but there's nothing I can do with her.
Right.
I tried to tell her to reach out to Bobby and Rick Asterstein. I think I'm saying that name right because he's supposed to be a demonologist. I don't think she did. She come talking about, well, you reach out to him for me. Hold up, baby girl. Hold up. If you want help, you need to say your family. I'm not your errand boy. I gave you the names. Everything beyond that is up to you. I've already had my share of demon time. I don't want no more. No, thank you. So I'm just, like I said, I did not plan on being privy to any of this stuff. People just say they listen to my encounter. They love the way I tell it. They believe me. And I guess my voice or my demeanor gives them cause to reach out to me and they feel like they can talk to me. And I appreciate it because I'm not turning away any knowledge that I can gain. In the same breath, though, I'm not your savior. I'm not going to perpetrate like I'm a savior. What I tell people is from common sense and theories that I have formed. None of them is concrete. And I tell them, this is just a theory that I formed. They could, and sometimes they say they tried and it worked. Sometimes they say they tried and they call me everything but Roy. So, hey, again, I'm not here to be your savior. I'm just passing on information that I've gained by talking to people. I have very little experience in the crypto world other than what I've seen. So I learned just like everybody else. But with this energy thing, I'll go into that now. I actually went to go see an energy healer that was recommended to me by another friend that I have. I've been talking to him about almost the same amount of time I've been talking to you. And I still haven't met him. And he live right here in Arizona. He just be on the road all the freaking time, but he's supposed to be home next week. He's supposed to hook up next week finally. He contacted me, him and his wife contacted me because they finally got a chance to watch my live. He said, oh man, I did not realize you had a stroke, brother. Are you okay? And I'm like, I'm doing the best I can. I'm still here, so that's got to count for something. I was telling him about being up and then being down and how your body forgets stuff and all of that. And he was like, oh, well, I'm going to check on something and I'll get back to you. I had no idea what that meant. Okay. So he sent me a long text message and he was talking about somebody named Charlie that was close to death. And they took him to an energy healer. And the next day, he was acting like he had got a new lease on life. I'm like, really? Who is this energy healer? Let me talk to them. He said, you know who Charlie is, don't you? I'm like, one of your homeboys or something. He said, Charlie's my dog.
What?
I said, oh, Paul, come on, bro. Really? He said, no, Roy, I'm serious. We took him to a pet energy healer. He said, he hasn't been able to get up into the truck by himself in years, where he's 14. But the next day, when we got ready to get up to go out and, use the bathroom stuff when we woke up, he hopped right down out of the truck and got back up in there by himself. I'm like, I need to see that. So he sent me a quick video of him playing with the dog, throwing the ball for him, Charlie hauling. I'm like, he wasn't running like that last time I did it, because they do videos showing when they be out at work. So I said, okay, well, wow. So his wife, Sophia, actually went online and looked up energy healers and found a person here in Arizona, way over in Mesa, and they paid for my visit, and I went. I know for a fact that the power of the human mind can be something truly incredible if you truly work that muscle, because the brain is a muscle. It's just a different type of muscle, but you can work it and get it stronger through meditation, by doing certain spells if you choose to do it that way, but you're going to pay the price at the end if you use the spells. But you can mentally strengthen yourself through meditation. And if you can figure out the 7 power points through the body and how to manipulate them or use them or send energy through them, whichever phrase works best, you can actually start to heal yourselves. I spoke with this gentleman. I was supposed to have a 30-minute consultation and then an hour and a half treatment. I got there at 1:30. Tell me why I left out of there at almost 7 o'clock.
Man.
Because once we had the consultation, started talking, I told him I'm going to be a little bit different. He may see different energies in me because I know about werewolves and stuff. He's like, really? And so I told him about my encounter, sent him the link. He said he's going to listen to it. And then he said, oh, I know you're telling the truth. I could see how your energy was spiking while you was talking. I'm like, you can see it? They're like, yeah, you have to be trained to do it. But he used some sound bowls, which the vibration coming off of them or whatever that piece of plastic or wood he was running around the edges, you can feel that through your body. It's almost like you can feel it just as good as you can when a cryptid growls that close to you. That kind of reverberation. Yeah, you can feel that energy in your body. So he's got 7 of them, and they're supposed to represent the power point. And they're under the table. You're on a massage table, so he's working them. And I got my eyes closed. And he was burning this incense. I got to get some of that. That stuff stuck to me for 2 days, Paul. That incense. And it smelled really good. I went into the gas station to get me something to drink when I got done, and the lady was like, what kind of cologne is that? I said, I have no idea, because it was on a stick. I said, this is incense. She's like, what's the name of it? I said, I don't know. I just left from this therapy appointment, and the therapist was burning this. And she's like, can I smell it again? And so she kind of like grabbed my arm and with 2 hands, and I'm looking at her like, okay, mama, turn me loose. Turn me loose. She's like, that smells really good. So I got to ask him what that is, because I want to get some of that, because it smells really good. And you want to talk about relaxing? I don't think it was lavender. I'm just going to ask, because I don't want to misspeak. I'll ask him. But yeah, that stuff stuck on me for 2 days after I got out of the shower. So once he got done with the bowls, he went and got this elephant hide drum. And I asked him, I said, is that legal in the United States? He said, what you mean? I said, because isn't it legal to have elephant parts? And he kind of looked at me like, nobody's ever asked me that before. I'm like, you ain't never talked to Roy before. But is that legal? I mean, I said, I'm not too worried about it, because I'm not going to get in trouble. That's not mine. It's yours. But is that legal? He's like, yes, this is legal, because not all elephants that die are killed. Some died natural cause. So this one was taken off an elephant that died from natural cause. I'm like, how do you know that? He said, well, that's what I was told. I'm like, oh, okay. I just kind of looked to the side like, that's what this dude's energy, Roy. He's trying to help you. So leave him in peace.
Right.
So that's what I did. He did walked around with the drum and then he got this stick. And somebody said the name of it earlier. I was telling, but he was moving and rotating it up and down, and it's got beads or stones in it. And it was making this rattling noise. And I'm laying there, and he just was doing that, and he was doing it over certain parts of my body. And then he did that for about 20 minutes, and then he put it down and told me to, close my eyes. But every time he stopped, I'm opening my eyes because I'm walking around. He's walking around me. I'll make sure I'm straight. Didn't nobody go with me. So he started doing stuff with his hands. Like, are you familiar with Dragon Ball Z?
Yeah, I've seen it once or
Okay,
twice.
Goku got a move he do called Kamehameha. Now I ain't saying he did that move, but he was moving his hands and he had them like clawed, doing certain motions over my body, parts of my body, and he got down over my right knee, which needs to be replaced. I should have had this done in '07, but I didn't. But it's gonna happen. Paul, he did something like he was pushing, and this pain started at the top of the top of my knee, which would basically be the bottom of my thigh, right above my knee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This pain started right there. I arched my back. He said, he said, I'm almost done, just a little bit longer. I'm like, you need to hurry up. That hurts, dude. What are you doing? He didn't have his hands on me. They were in the air above my knee. And he was pushing down toward my ankle. He pushed that pain down through my calf, all the way down until it felt like it was in that, if it get cut, you hamstrung. I can't think of what it's called right now, but it's right at the bottom of your foot. You know what I'm talking about,
The
that
Achilles.
tendon.
Yeah, the
Right
Achilles.
there. Yeah, the Achilles tendon. He brought that down through my tendon and pulled that stuff out the heel of my foot. And I'm laying there looking at him like, how did you do that? What did you do? He said, I'm not done. I said, okay, but what did you do? He said, okay, I said, I can't relax until you tell me what you did. It's like you had a lot of pain and stagnating energy around your knee. So I removed it. I'm like, just like that. He said, yeah. I'm like, but how did you remove it? He said, because I merged with your ear. I said, okay. I got this pain in my back. Can you look at that next? He said, I'm going to go over your whole body. So he didn't get all the stuff out of my back. He told me I'm going to have to come back, and I'm not going to say nothing about him because the man did. I felt different the next day.
Yeah.
I did. Now, was I totally healed? Absolutely not. But did I feel different? I certainly did, because he did a lot of work in my chest and my upper stomach area. Okay. My whole chest. And he was pushing stuff to the left, to the right. He was bringing it up toward my head. He didn't push it down. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, you got a lot of stagnated energy around you. He's like, how many people do you talk to a day? I said, I don't know. I've never kept track. He said, okay, this is what I need you to do for you, not for me. This is for you. I said, okay, what is it? He said, don't talk to more than 3 people in a week. And I need you to do a mental and physical cleanse after you talk to the third person. Now, you can do it either by meditating, or you can get in the tub, and I need you to get Epsom salt, some pink Himalayan salt, a couple of candles, and then he said, I got some herbs that I want you to buy to put in the water. I said, so what are you telling me? He said, your emotions and your energy are in serious conflict because of you talk to people and you absorb their emotions. He said, you are an empath. Did you know that? I said, I kind of felt that way after, and then I had to tell him about the demon. And he said, yep, that's when it happened. I'm like, why? He said, sometimes paranormal interactions can happen, and that thing came into your house, you said. I'm like, right. He said, so that made it more of a personal attack. It wasn't just outside messing with your car, it came into the house. He said, and it may have left a little residual energy that you didn't know about and walked through it and pretty much absorbed it, and it opened up a different part of your mind. I'm like, hold on a minute. What? What now? What? He said, oh, yeah, you did. A lot of people don't know that. I said, say that again, though. You said he left some energy in the house and I walked through it and absorbed it. He said, okay, that's the best way to explain this to you. I said, just talk like you're talking to a 5-year-old. He said, okay. He said, okay. Let's say you have demons in your house, or you are a certain type of person that have a certain type of energy, and you go to a cemetery. Not that you want to do no kind of rituals or anything. You're going to put flowers on somebody's
Their headstone.
grave. You're not doing rituals. You're going to say goodbye to a deceased loved one or something like that. And at night, who knows what walks the cemetery? But when they return to wherever they go, sometimes they leave energy, just like you will leave energy behind. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, you ever had sex with a woman? I said, lots of times. He said, every time the act is completed, you leave some of your energy with her and you take some of her. I said, no, I don't. He said, yeah, you do. I said, no, I don't. I'll leave something else, but I don't leave no energy. He said, Roy, you leave energy and you take some of her. He said, I want you to read some stuff about how that works. And I read it and I'm like, wow. So basically, when you have sex with a female and you finish the act, you leave some of your demeanor and some of basically your energy in her and she absorbs it. That's why some females are more masculine than others, depending on how active or how many bodies they have. And I was like, I'm never saying that to a woman. I'm never saying that to a woman, but thank you for the information because that's going to help me learn how to deal with certain people. He said, no problem. So, yeah, evidently, all the times I had to go out there and mess with my car, when the demon was making the horn go off, I was absorbing energy from the car. And I'm not saying I'm the type of person that can help the police solve a cold case or nothing like that, but it's something that I've noticed if I'm too close to certain people, if their energy is too strong. I'll give you an example. Last year, we went to Walmart. Went to go get just a pickup order, but I had to go inside to get some contact lens solution and some lotion. This lady was in the grocery section, but she was over where they keep the decon, the raid, pesticides and stuff like that. Now, this dude was coming by me with his basket, so I had to step forward to give him enough room to get by me because you know how people park their cars on one side of the freaking store and then they walk down the aisle shopping.
Yeah.
So when somebody else comes with a basket, they got to go around them. So that means the person on the opposite side got to kind of scoot up, depending on how much they got hanging out. So I had to step forward, but she brushed me in my back when she went by. Well, actually, she brushed my arm because I turned to the side, so she brushed my left arm with hers. You know what that woman was doing in Walmart? She was looking for poison to kill her husband because she found out he was messing with his sex. That's what I got off of her when she brushed up against me.
Wow.
No anger, no rage. Just like if you came home and was making a peanut butter and jelly, that calm.
That's
And I
crazy.
looked at her and I told her, I said, don't do that. And she looked at me. She said, oh, did I hit you? I'm like, don't do that. Don't do that. What you planning on doing? And she just kind of looked at me like, hell, and my daughter looked at me like, Dad, what are you talking about? And I didn't tell her till we went on and got in the car. And I seen that just as clear. And my daughter looked at me. She's like, Dad, you started to scare me. I said, what you scared of? She said, you ain't never said nothing about doing it. I said, I ain't never been able to do that before. Now, can I do it all the time? Absolutely not. But it's because her energy was so strong. Even if you just slightly on the empath level, you would have been able to pick that up. I know what it's like now when somebody just get done having sex and they come out of the house and be shopping. I know what it's like when somebody's full and had a good meal. I know what it's like when somebody buys something and ate it and it disgusted them. Or somebody sees something in somebody that somebody like an older woman sees some of these young girls the way they dress with very few clothes on. That disgusts some old women because it's not very ladylike. I wasn't picking up on none of this stuff before, but not since I stay in Sun City, which is basically a 55 and over community. When I go to the store, that's what I mainly run into. But every now and again, younger folks come in because, it's Arizona. So when he was telling me certain things, I understood it, but also gave me an opportunity to ask him about how that works. And he told me the reason why I'm able to do what I'm able to do is because when I said that something in my head snapped that night on them tracks, all those years ago, a door got opened in my head. I felt a physical snap, like somebody snapping their fingers inside your head, but I didn't know what it meant. I'm thinking this is what happens when you see a werewolf. Maybe just want a side effect, but I never went and did anything to where I was conscientiously trying to use an ability. I didn't know nothing about it. I'm trying to survive what I've seen and keep my sanity for the next 3 years. I'm not worried about being able to pick up on people's energies and stuff. So
Yeah.
that muscle was never used. I actually didn't start using it till 2023, really using it after I was able to get rid of the demon.
Man, that's crazy.
So my life has changed, but it's good now because I know when somebody approaches me, if I really focus, I can tell if they're coming with good intentions or if they're trying to set me up for some bull crap. And I'm gonna say this, but I ain't saying no names. And 3 years ago when I talked, I could have really used that for a couple of people for what they was trying to do. And that's all I'm going to say about that. But I'm glad that I have it now because I do have an announcement that I'm going to make, but I'm not going to make it here tonight until something's done. But I will tell you what it's going to be when we get off of the phone. I mean, off the recording. But you have to keep it to yourself because I'm actually going to have two big announcements to make later on this year.
Yeah, you know I will.
I think the people will be pleased. Well, I already sent you a picture of one. It's going to the next stage now. But I'll tell you about that when we stop recording. So, yeah, Paul, brother, when I say that for just an average black man who considers himself some old chocolate, white around the edges and brown in the middle, my knowledge on a lot of things that I never, ever would have dreamed of in my 20s, my 30s, or even my 40s has been given to me in the last 5 years. And I'm so appreciative to everybody that has reached out to me to share their encounters, their stories, their experiences, ever it happened to them. And they allow me to share with people so people know what's going on now. We're not talking about stuff from the 80s or the 90s or the 2000s. We're talking about stuff that happened this year, last year, more in the present. Giants, dogmen, rakes, things running down, dudes doing 60 miles an hour on a freaking highway in West Virginia and jumping in the back of their truck.
Yeah.
Got the man on 911 screaming, that's not human. What the hell?
Yeah, that was a crazy.
We can't even do 60 and get away.
Yeah, that was a wild story.
Yeah, and I've been trying to get in touch with that guy to talk to him because it's my theory that either he's seen a crawler, and I don't know how fast they can run, or he's seen a vampire. He said it was pale white with blood running down the front of it. It ran him down after I counted. It was like 30 something seconds that he was on that 911 call, and then that thing jumped in the back of his truck. So it ran him down at 60. Ain't no human being. What's our top speed? Maybe 24.
Yeah.
Oh boy, what's his name? That dude, that track athlete. I can't think his name. Black guy.
Usain Bolt.
Yeah, even that's him. Thank you. Usain. He can hit 23, 24. Some of the fastest NFL players. Even me, when I was able to get up and get it, maybe 23 miles is my top speed. And that was if my girl had promised me something. I had extra incentive to knock a few ticks off the clock. But that's so, bruh, we got some stuff that is, I don't know what's coming, but I know you want to see a dog man. I'm going to try to make that happen for you this year.
All right.
I'm trying to set some stuff up in Arkansas so that you can get, just you can go down and see, well, you might have to bring somebody up with you, but just you can go down and see.
You're going with me.
Something. Well, now, see, what had happened was Roy said he was going, and then he had a stroke and realized that he couldn't run. I can't even lift a weight fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be on the phone with you on camera, and I'm going to see everything that you see.
No.
Without being there to say I had the experience. No, I'm going to try to be down there with you because I actually want to see a dog man. And people be like, you already seen one. No, I didn't. I seen a werewolf. I want to see a dog man so that I can tell the difference between the two.
Well, let's make it happen.
All right. So I'm thinking going to try to do it when it's cool. So we have a chance we might get lucky and it snows down there. We might be able to get some tracks in the snow, or if we can catch a day when it's a Chinook summer where the leaves have actually dropped, but it snowed, but then it melted in that ground, it softened the whole good tracks in the mud.
Yeah.
See, I want to try to do something like that because I want to walk across the street up under that tree and see what the hell was over there that holding dog. I might not come back out. Okay. And if it growl at me, I'm not going all the way over there. I'm telling you that now. But
I'll go in there with you.
I asked her to pick some spots out away from her home because I don't want people going down there and doing shit and get stuff stirred up and then they leave and she got to deal with the fallout. So I asked her to look 50 to 100 miles around her home for some spot because we actually wanted to start doing some tours down there. Since a lot of people want to see a dog, man, I'm like, well, the best place I can tell you is to go down there and talk to her. But she see him every freaking day. I mean, I can just pull up to a park and sit. And I guarantee you she'll point out at least 2 dog men in the fucking bushes watching. I guarantee you, no matter where she goes in that city, if she out in the country riding around, they going to follow her and you're going to see some out in the country. I don't know what it is with her, but that pack got to be at least 40 strong. Because I
Wow.
know I've counted over the last 2 years, 2022, I counted 14. 2023 was 13. And then 24, twice that year, there was 8. And then another litter of 6. That's how many baby dog man I have seen. And she will not let me. Well, I told what happened when I accidentally posted a picture of them, but when they're about 3 months old, they can stand on their hind legs, dude, and walk. And imagine a puppy standing up that's not off balance. He's perfectly balanced, like he's been walking on his hind legs his whole life. But he got arms and swings them. She got all kind of pictures of stuff like that. But she said that since an incident happened where her kids was taking the trash out, I don't know what got it started, but there was a dog man across the street and he turned his freaking eyes red and he growled at her girl. And that pissed her off. She's actually let me share a full picture that she said was never gonna come out the warehouse. He said, "Oh no." He said, "Now I made a mistake and shared one of y'all kids, but that was years ago, and now y'all growling at my baby. No, y'all want to play? We gonna play." I'm like, "Are you sure you got the right equipment to play with him?" He's like, "I'm so pissed off, Roy. I don't give a damn." So,
Send me some, if you can, send me some
Okay.
photos that she doesn't mind, or you don't mind me posting, because I'll add them.
Oh yeah,
I'll add them to the video, and if
I got
there's,
more than 3,000. I can pull somebody here.
oh yeah, just send me a few, and I can put up here. But
Okay.
man, I'm gonna.
Well, I sent you 4 videos.
Okay.
Right when we first got started, so you can add them. But I'll send you probably 4 or 5 more pictures. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll send you 10. So you can
Okay.
see some of the stuff, because there's something I really want your feedback on it, because there's a creature standing across the street, almost taller than the houses that's over there.
Is that something I
Now
can?
they not 2-story. They not 2-story. They single-story house, but this thing is taller than the house.
That's going to be 10 to 12.
Yeah, and you can see it. She's got another video. I have to find it. She didn't say I couldn't share. There's a tree, a bush, and some grass in the picture, okay? In the video. So I'm looking at the thing. There's something standing on the right side of the tree. Of course, it's the right side. It's on the left side because you're looking at it, but it's the right side of the tree, but that's the left side of the video. I'm looking at this thing and it kind of stick his head out of progress. So I'm kind of trying to catch it to where I can pause it while I got his head up so I can see what it is. Now, while I'm looking at this thing, this bush on the other side of this tree, dude, it started whipping back and forth very violent. Stop right there. There is no wind blowing, at least not that hard to cause this. I mean, this sucker's whipping like it's a tornado. Winds are blowing around it. And I'm looking at it and it's going back and forth. Now, usually that's something that Bigfoot do. At least that from the research that I did and seeing some stuff, they shake trees and stuff like that in the forest. But this is across the street from her house. So this thing is just shaking and shaking and shaking and shaking. I'm like, "Did you ever see what was doing that?" And she said, so I downloaded the video. And then I found out if I take my stylus and put it on the cursor on the video, if I move it right, I can go frame by frame. Now that's some tedious stuff, especially when my thumb and my first 2 fingers on my right hand, I have not been able to feel them since I had my stroke. So they're totally numb. So picking up stuff is really fun with those 3 fingers. And they just said it's some kind of blockage in my head that's causing that. But I talked to him and he said it's a circulation issue and that we were going to address it, or he would try to teach me how to heal myself to open up my pathways so that my blood flow will return to normal. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm dealing with this. So, got Ralph.
Well, I was just going to tell you, of course, since you reached out to me the day or two after you had your stroke, I'm glad you did. Cause I told you I was going to pray for you, man. I've been thinking about you a lot, and I know you're going to get better. You're on the mend, and I'm glad. So whether it's prayer or the healer, it's glad it's working. But any pictures that you send me and you let me, or you just tell me that it's okay, I'm going to post on this video.
Everything I send you, you can post.
Perfect. And yeah,
everything I send you can post.
Perfect. Well, I got to run.
Do you want any orb pictures?
Yeah, man.
I really would like to send you this orb. This orb appeared in her driveway, and it actually floated up to the driver's side of her vehicle like it was looking inside, and then it backed up and turned and looked at the security camera and flew straight at it.
Oh wow!
And it's a pretty blue orb. I'll send you that. It's a pretty blue orb. And I got another one that appeared, and it floated around up under the car for a little bit, and then it shot across the street.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
And went into the neighbor's house across the street. And I asked her if she ever talked to her neighbors, and she was like, no. So yeah, but I'll send you that stuff, man. And you can add it to the podcast, and I think the people are going to be. I think they're going to be pretty impressed with that. And if I can, the name of my Facebook group is called Cryptid Insights. I'm not saying I got the best stuff over there, but I do have some stuff I guarantee you ain't never seen.
Yeah, you do.
I guarantee that.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I've been keeping in touch with you on that for sure. No, I'm going to post that link as well in the bottom of this on YouTube.
Okay, I apologize about my latest dog.
No. My dog was barking earlier, and I have no clue what there's no telling what he's barking at, man. It's dark here and it's storming outside. We're getting hit by storms in Nashville. So, but man.
So yeah,
no, I was going to say.
I was just going to say I'm doing some more research. So if you'd like to have me on in maybe 3 or 4 months, I'd love to come back on and share what I found out about Eloy or what's going on in the mountains up here.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I would love to have. Yeah, anytime, man. You got a standing invitation. So, but man, I appreciate you calling in tonight.
Hey, I appreciate you having me. And as usual, we gonna stay in contact. You know, I'll be sending you some pretty stuff to look at night, give you a laugh in the daytime. So I hope you're doing them shorts that I send you, because I know some of it's crazy.
Yeah, I know you don't sleep.
Probably watch it late at night.
Oh yeah, I hear your text come in at 3:00 in the morning. I was like, "There's Roy." That's fine.
All right, well, I'm gonna start sending them later because I don't want to be disturbing me at 3:00. So I'll start sending them about 4.
You're good, man. Well, hey, brother, take care, and I appreciate you. And we'll be in touch, man. I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Let's talk soon. Thanks for having me.
Oh,
give the missus my best.
I will. You too.
All right.
Yeah, I'll give you a shout later.
All right,
dude.
Paul. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Yes, sir.
All right, guys. That was Roy Stubblefield. Turned out to be a very good friend of mine since his encounter that he told me about a few years ago. Yeah, thank you for coming on. And yeah, he was having some technical difficulties. We couldn't get his image on the screen, or we couldn't get his video actually on the screen. Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And yeah, you can reach out to him on Facebook at Cryptid Insights. That's his channel, or that's his Facebook forum about all things strange, mainly cryptids. But yeah, stay in touch. Thanks for listening. Thanks for following. And remember, you can find me on Spotify, most major podcast platforms, for sure, YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. All right. Thanks, guys, and we will talk very soon.